My first question, I hope you don't take too long to answer because the second question is the main one on my mind. But since we always hear from the previous administration emphasis on enforcement, while I agree enforcement of our tax laws is necessary, in my view, the emphasis should be on improving customer service to put the taxpayer first, because giving good information is one way of helping the taxpayers to abide by the law. Most taxpayers want to do that and would gladly do so if they could get their phone calls answered and questions addressed. If confirmed, what is the balance you hope to strike between enforcement and customer service? And by the way, I want to.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. That last part of the question there. Is your mic on, or can you just pull up both of them?
He wants to get your mic closer to you.
Oh, you didn't hear my question. I'm sorry.
I listened.
Okay.
But I don't think
The last part of it.
Listen, yes. If confirmed, what is the balance you hope to strike between enforcement and customer service? And I'm sorry I didn't have my mic on.
yeah, okay. I was sort of say that, I wasn't sure if that was the case or not. But everything that we do has to be fair to both sides, and we have to handle the taxpayers, whether they're paying in or whether it's a compliance issue, in exactly the same manner according to the code, what the laws dictate that we do.
Okay. A program that I've championed, I think going way back to the early 2000s, IRS whistleblower program to incentivize those with knowledge of high-dollar tax evasion to alert the IRS, and this deals mostly with corporations. To date, this program has brought in over $6 billion to the Treasury and could raise billions more if used by the IRS to its fullest extent. Should you be confirmed, can I count on you to be supportive of the whistleblower program and work to ensure it's used to its full potential? And let me explain some of the problem. We got people that sometimes don't get any word from the IRS for years about what's being done on what they suggested that tax money wasn't being paid by a particular corporation. And it seems to me, if you're interested in enforcement, these whistleblowers bring you information that the IRS would never have, and you ought to follow up on it and collect the money. But we seem to get inaction in some cases from the IRS.
I don't think that there's a lot of daylight between Charles Grassley and Billy Long on that issue, and you were one of the very first senators that allowed me to come into your office and visit, and we had a robust discussion on whistleblowers, and I'm right there with you, Senator.
Well, thank you. That's good to hear. In recent years, there have been multiple instances of taxpayer information being improperly disclosed or leaked from the IRS. The most prominent example involved the IRS contractor releasing thousands of individual tax returns to liberal publication ProPublica. I guess he's in prison now as a result of that. But in your view, how important is it for the IRS to maintain the confidentiality of private taxpayer information?
I think it's utmost, the utmost. And I don't know if it's my place. I'm not in Congress. I'm sure it's not my place. But I think that some of the I know whenever Ways and Means was having a thing, they brought up the thing of the penalties involved and whether they should be strengthened. But for what some of these cases have leaked of people's personal information, and why they do that, who knows, but there should be as stringent penalties and as long-term sentences as you could possibly get, I would think. But the law is the law, and if they get the maximum, and it's not very much, that's what you're dealing with today.
You mentioned in your written testimony, technology at the IRS is dangerously out of date and needs to be modernized. Updating IRS information technology has been a priority for every commissioner for decades. Unfortunately, such efforts have been plagued with cost overruns and have under-delivered in terms of performance. What steps can you take as commissioner to ensure that this history doesn't repeat itself and we don't waste a lot of taxpayers' money trying to upgrade everything?
I think that I mentioned earlier that we need to use a lot of things that other businesses are using to do things more effectively than the IRS.
Thank you very much.